Hello, and we're back with the part 3 of the Great East Chronicles. So last time we stopped at Susato Mikotoba coming in through the court. Yeah. So yeah, we stopped at the fact that we cannot prove that it's poison, and then Susato came in. So I'm here just hoping that maybe Susato can help with proving there's poison in it. I don't know. So okay, we'll see. Okay, let's just not waste any time and let's just go into it. Okay, so start off. We So 22nd November, 1:14 PM, Supreme Court of Judicature, number 2. So by this time it's already a bit late to submit the report to the Great Britain. Okay. So you need to send it on the afternoon, right? They need to submit on the afternoon. Well, I understand you are the judicial assistant to the defense, but why this sudden ingress into my courtroom? A judicial assistant and a woman no less. Oh, okay. I don't know. I'm okay lah. It's just because it's something from a long time ago. The rules state that females are not permitted into this court of law other than to testify. Oh, okay, that's a bit, yeah. Yes, I fully understand. I asked only for 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence that I must hand over to the defense. Yes, jom. Contoh. Wasn't really hit that much. Yeah. I'm just going to lower this down a bit. Okay. Sorry. So yes, okay. I have some vital evidence that I must hand over to the defense. Yes. Okay. Too late. This trial has already been concluded. Yeah, right. No, it isn't. 5 minutes. I will not allow a moment more. Okay. Where's your time watch, Judge? Time watch. Stop timer. Where's your excellency? I'm most grateful. This judge is very reasonable. Yeah. Who exactly are you? Oh my god, you just saw her with her dad just now. I'm sorry, there's no time. Please simply accept this for now. What is it? A report about something written in English. Ooh. It's Giselle Brad's research. Ooh. The English woman's. Oh my god. Would it be illegal to get something of I mean, like it's Giselle's book without her permission nonetheless. I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical faculty and borrowed this paper. Oh yes, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she? So does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case? I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself. Oh, no, of course not. Of course lah. He was running from the university to the court. Special characteristics of Kurai Kurai effects on human subject. Interesting. Wait, so like don't tell me that Giselle Brett tests her own medicine on her professor. Oh my god, Kurare, what's that? Curare, never heard that word before. Time's up. The prosecution demands the immediate removal of this female trespasser from the courtroom. So you benarkan that Giselle Brett lady, but you tak benarkan this very beautiful Japanese woman. There was too little time for me to read it in detail, but I've summarized what I could on a note just inside the cover. If you think it would be valuable, please cast your eye over it. This is wonderful, thank you. Giselle's report has been entered into the courtroom. Okay, let's read. Goodbye then, and good luck. Aww, look at how Kazuma just down his head. And they don't even really bat an eye on her. Like, you know, the gaze just... They didn't meet each other's gaze. Hypnosis. A poison made from the bark of certain trees in the jungles of South America. The hunters of the region have used it since ancient times to incapacitate their prey. Affects instant paralysis of the entire body and subsequent death, even in minute doses. Subsequent means akan, instant. Route of entry. The above mentioned effects occur when the poison enters the body through a wound such as that inflicted by a blowpipe dart. Due to its ability to render the human body paralytic, it believed that the toxin could have application as an anesthetic. However, a solution for the respiratory arrest caused as a result of the full body paralysis must be found first, or patients would die of suffocation. Jap. From a wound. So I think like kalau yang ni, yeah, I mean like if we present this, we are still not out from the from the suspicion, because we still have that gun wound. How did it get there? Night. Goodbye then, and good luck. Okay. They're so, you know, elegant. So jealous. We have had long enough counsel. We cannot detain our English guests any longer. Right. I ask the prosecution and the defense now one last time. Does either side have any further evidence to present to the court? I presume not, but because the prosecution has made its case convincingly enough already. Nothing more to add, Your Excellency. Just give it out of urgency. Yeah. We just need to present this. I know. Pop. Yeah, so strong. Your Excellency, the defense does have new evidence. That look. The unyielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. Oh, thank you. Well, Miss Brett. Yes, Your Excellency. If you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer. Yeah. It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid it's not so very long until tea time. I'll have to politely decline. Forgive me, Miss Brett, if I wasn't clear. I realized it was phrased as a question. However, I must ask you to treat that as an ode. I've said it many times before, but the Japanese language makes no sense. apologies, dear lady. Oh, counsel, what is this new evidence that demands the court's attention? Of course lah, yang ni. Hi, Miss Giselle Pratt. We understand you were studying under Dr. Wilson at University doing research. Research by sheer coincidence, perhaps, into a deadly poison. I don't think she was researching for a poison. Researching for an anesthesia, but coincidentally using a poison. What poison? Where I go with this, counsel? A toxin known as curare. Your Excellency. Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death. Okay, Arik, what? What complete and utter nonsense? Curare, you say? I've never even heard of it. You wouldn't have done. What do you mean? I mean that you wouldn't have heard of curare before, for one very simple reason. Sorry, I was drinking, sorry. It doesn't exist in our country. Doesn't exist? Yeah, it exists in South America. Correct, which means no matter what test the police can do for toxins, they would never identify curare. Curare. Why? Because there is no test available here that can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison. What? Order. Also, does this deadly poison truly exist? According to this report authored by the visiting research student from England, curare has long been used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. Since that is reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists to lace their arrows. The report states that it is produced from the extract of tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle. Amazon. It was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. He claims that animals shot by arrows laced with curare suffer instant death. Ooh. Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brad? That small leap of her trumpery. These expressions are utter trumpery. Trumpery. To start with, if the victim had been administered some of this so-called deadly poison, he would have been squirming and rolling in pain, and the other diners would have surely noticed. That's true. But the what? Instant paralysis. Obviously, I would have noticed a disturbance like that. I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain. According to this, however, it's the other way around. Oh, what do you mean, the other way around? The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress is evidence that curare was used. Oh, in yourself. The moment this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they were in total agony, there would be no visible signs of pain at all. How terrible. Obviously, if a man lost all strength in his muscle, he would collapse on the floor. But with a chair under him for support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effects could go largely unnoticed. I don't follow, Kazu. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison caused instant death. The full explanation is extremely unpleasant. Ooh. Poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe it causes the muscle that control respiration to fail. Oh. In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. And all the while, the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move. Oh, ouch, ouch. Ouch. Sorry. The observer, it would look almost like the victim was sleeping peacefully into an endless sleep. Oh, oh. That is the true nature of this deadly curare poison. Wow. Wow. You're suggesting that this bottle council actually contained this terrifying poison? This is all very convenient. Hitherto unknown poison for which there is no means of testing. What a happy tale to the defense. Damn, if I may. All these facts, you think you're so clever, but you must... Shut up! It's you who must be taught. Oh, of course. Shut up! Ojo-sama! Shut up! So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it? What? You steal another honest hard work and then announce the result as if you discovered them. I'm appalled. What a loathsome act. I like how the words are appalled, loathsome, like because you know Zelbrad is speaking in Japanese right now, but she used such a very large vocab, so in a way I think she's just really good at Japanese. Well, Miss Brad, the feeling is mutual. Whatever do you mean? Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime, that really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree? Enough of this. I for one refuse to accept it. The idea of some poison that doesn't even exist in the great empire of Japan is breaking the rules. And what? What's yeah, what's so funny? Oh, excuse me, Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Bright. May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please? Well, yes, I don't see not. Wow. And is that how you hold a wine bottle like that? Man, really? Oh. Okay. Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys. Island boys. Because Japan is an island. Sorry. To an Englishwoman such as myself, this whole affair is farcical comedy. Your little police games and this foolish courtroom antics is laughable, really. But I'm getting bored of it all now. It's time for the games to end. Cheers! So she's going to drink it. No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for this shabby affair. Sparkle left? What sparkle? Nani kore? Nani kore? Nani kore? So there's no poison inside that bottle? Hey, Ninja Soria. Goodness, whatever is the matter, you all look quite stunned. She got balls. No crap. Water was clean. That was insane. You look quite incredulous, little boy, but of course, ooh, that's the simple truth. I mean, what's wrong? We see your eyes. My God. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisely here in this grand venue. Most kind. Oh wow, so like, is using is she now she's using the court as her stage to present her findings. Oh my God. Like, in a way it's like, teaching session somehow. Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Pratt. I should like to be excused now, please. I think I've given more than enough of my time for the furtherance of friendship between our countries. Ah yes, dear lady. I am most gratified with all the assistance you have given. Oh. Oh. You cannot just use it. Hello. Oh, hello. I'm.
Oh, you're streaming?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
What?
No. I mean, like, what are you doing now? What do you want to do now? I mean, like, are you going to play Animal Crossing?
I'm gonna watch She-Ra.
Oh, okay. Have fun. Just if you just hearing me narrating stuff, it's just because I'm playing the game.
Okay.
Okay, have fun. Yeah, we're back. Sorry for that. No. I think because you need to like insert the poison from a wound. You cannot drink it because it stayed there. That you need it need to be a wound. Yeah. So that's why she's so brave. She got balls. She knows this doesn't make sense. They had to have been poisoned in that bottle. So how did she swallow a whole glass and live to tell the tale? Because the poison is not through the mouth. Well, I suppose if nothing else, this little Feisten charade will make for interesting conversation at the next party I attend in London. There has to be there can't have, because otherwise she would have killed over that. You need to read back. Come on, Yunosuke, we have all the clues now. Did that water? Because you need to administer the poison through a wound. The route of entry, the above mentioned, or if it occurs into a wound. See, a wound. You cannot drink it. I mean, you can drink it. But how did you enter the wound? That's the question. Because it's not in the bottle. I don't think it's not. I don't think it's in the bottle. There's no poison. As I thought, there is no poison in that bottle. What? I mean, like, yeah, there's no poison. Wait, why? What? Why? Isn't it obvious? If there was poison, then she would be dead by now. Of course lah. Sometimes your unadulterated naivety really astounds me. Sometimes it's in need of good steaming until it's as dark as your uniform in the midst of the Oh, is that what this color is supposed to represent? Oh, really? That's new. Okay. that was a deal ascending. Oh no. Lol, I got penalized for that. But I don't think there's a poison in there. Because, you know, like, if it's into the wound, it's not in the bottle. Yeah, so I need to answer this. That bottle of water contains poison. Operate it put kerana I defend refuses to change his position. Is serious? Oh, are you blind? There's no possible way that bottle could contain poison. I really just saw. Is Brett drinking the water from it? That's right, which rather complicates your argument, I think. I believe that complication can be explained. How exactly? Yeah, oh, okay. So, okay. I need to think through all the things that don't quite add up here one by one. So the answer is in the evidence we have. Yes, it's in the book. Read the book. Oh my god. Huh? What? Then I must ask. What? What did it say? Very well. If the defense really intends to, okay. Oh, hello. Welcome.
Hello. Hello, I'm watching some shows.
What explain how the
Yeah.
witness was able? Okay. What explains how the witness was able to consume this supposedly poison after unscarf? I mean, ada dalam ni kan? Ada dalam ni. Boleh kan? Yes. The song didn't stop. Okay. I think boleh je. Yo. I nak test something. Jap ni.
Okay.
Let's test it out.
Oopsie daisy.
Jom tengok. Okay, the answer to this riddle is right here. Okay, yes. Igiar. That's not a valid explanation. No. Why? After all, we don't speak English. That report is satu. Oh my god. Tu je reason dia. Haish. No. You need to learn some English, dude. He's some impudent young scoundrel is trying to
You
ridicule.
share it on Discord. It's lagging a bit on Twitch.
Yeah. So I really
So
can't
like,
share.
tak payahlah share.
Itulah, sedih lah. So tomorrow you kena tengok the ni lah. So basically I seorang lah. You guys tengok macam ni sikit.
Alah, it's just like 1 second difference.
Yalah tu 1 second
Baby, you
difference.
menjerit, I sama jerit.
I'm not trying to ridicule anyone. I'm just reading satu science notes. I concur. This report is too extensive to be considered in its entirety by the court. Sedih lah bila like they cannot use apa? A full English report as evidence. Why? Why?
English wa karimasen.
English you need to understand. You will direct us to the pertinent section, counsel. Oh, so we can direct it lah. Okay. Direct it. Practical applications, is it? Yep. Hypnosis. Special characteristic. Practical. Okay, so special characteristic dia lah. Special characteristic. I think it's still a bit laggy lah dalam stream pun. Because if I tengok here memang dia somewhat drop frames sikit. I don't know why. Why are you dropping frames?
Dia memang pakai glove tu ke? Oh, dia baru pakai.
Dia
Rasa
memang
sebelum ni
pakai.
dia tak pakai.
Dia memang pakai.
Oh.
Interesting kan? Been hearing a lot
Perasan
about
pun before this.
Ferrari poison. And it's left me curious about something. Oh, council. Well, it sounds as though indigenous hunters have been using this poison for years and years to lace the heads of the arrows. Hunting. Wahaha. Yeah, it's a bit laggy. Okay, tak? I don't know why the laggy. Internet, I think. Sekejap, I nak tukar. Bolehkah I tukar? Takutlah. Dan. Contoh mati ni. Technical issues. Pam pam pidam. Okay, nice. Okay. Is it okay now? Is it?
Dia macam loading. I wonder why.
I try pakai data. Macam tak boleh je sebab I tengok dalam ni dia tak keluar langsung. But you dengar I kan?
On Discord, yes. Oh no, the live.
Ya. Itulah. Dia lah. Dam. Sebab line tonight macam tak apa okay sikit. Because I've been seeing the line macam merah. Okay dah. Yeah. Sekejap. Yeah, I know the stream gone. Itulah. I try ni. Tak boleh.
No, the input lambat. We just lambat to you.
Oh. Kenapa dia tak nak update lah? Okay, sekarang okay. Ya. Sedih lah macam ni. But tak apalah. I siap record sekali pun. Okay lah. Dam. So we have been led to believe, yes. And the point of hunting is to catch prey to eat. Oh. To point please. That if they were to use this method, doesn't that mean there would be traces of poison left in the prey the hunters were going to eat? Yes, good point. So surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Because then they would be eating poison. Good gracious counsel, that would be madness. But I actually found the answer to the conundrum in this research paper. Here, conundrum, haha. And the special characteristic, it says this. The poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound. Through a wound, you say. I see, that makes sense. Yes, that the mention of that particular detail seemed a little strange to me though. Though. The brat.
Oh, so that's the foreigner lady
Yeah.
with all those
Kan?
flowers.
Yeah. And the swan semua. The name
Wait,
is...
that was a swan?
I think it's a swan. Jap. Because... Jap. Let me check. Ada dalam court record. Oh, tak ada. Tak keluar. It's a swan. Atas tu a swan. Lepas tu kat belakang dia pun ada swan. I tak tahu kenapa. And the name is Giselle Brad. I tahu maybe Brad is the Brad, you know, Brad, but I tak tahu Giselle. But it all makes sense when you interpret what's written like this. When Kirare enters the body through an open wound. Ooh. Wow, Strawberry Rose is now following. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Strawberry Rose. Wow. Yo, thank you for the following. It's nice. Yeah, okay. So let's continue. Thank you. Carry on this. However, his stable smacking have been strong. When it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effects whatsoever. Pelik poison ni. A bit weird. Not a bit weird. I mean like, maybe those kind of poison does exist. I don't know. What?
But isn't the mouth one of those membranes where, things get absorbed quicker?
Yeah, itulah. So like, how macam tu kan? Maybe because bila a wound kan macam like, dia direct to the bloodstream or something. Sebab through the mouth masuk ni. Tapi macam pelik lah, because like it would macam paralyze your whole body kan. So like kalau just enter the bloodstream je ke boleh macam tu. Maybe it's just his story's logic lah. You knew Kirari's special characteristics, and you knew that you could make
I don't know. I gave up on biology. I'm now an accountant to be.
I gave up on biology and now an engineer. Yalah tu. You knew, as if I'm an engineer. You knew that you could make a spectacle of drinking that water without any danger to yourself. Yeah, this brat got balls. See, swan. You meddling little.
I hope it's not an actual swan. It's a dead carcass swan.
This one.
Oh.
I thought dia hiasan je.
I'm just glad it's not like a dead swan,
I thought dia, macam like, kan
plastic.
The Americans got that stuffed teddy something kan, build a band. So
is it that no, is it that back in the day, if I remember correctly, like they do wear alive animals on their not alive, dead animals on their head?
Really?
Like it was a whole issue about macam burung, like birds going to get bukan instinct, what's the word, extinct
macam dodo, yeah.
Because of like ramai orang hunt those birds to use as a hat. Later, I'll find a documentary and send it, okay?
Oh, okay. Kelakar lah, it's alive. Oh, dia hidup.
But this is alive.
Very nice. Okay, it turns out the swan is alive. Kazuma have some humor. An even better lawyer than I thought you would be. Haha, really? Me? A lawyer? Ooh, sekarang Ryonosuke thinking about his future. Ho ho. All this poison talk is fascinating, I'm sure, but I fail to see how it possibly— Shut up! Shut up! The swan is alive! So the ill-bred little puppy has a new toy to play with. Some facts he read in a book. Aww. So the ill-bred puppy is us. Okay. But I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. It only makes you look silly. Aww, jahat. What are you trying to say? Oh, the swan already calmed down. Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw. Schoolboyish? Okay, schoolboyish flaw. So like Ryonosuke was offended on the schoolboy. As even your brain has managed to deduce Kirare is safe to ingest. Okay. It seems likely that its effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastric suckers. Huh? What? Okay, jap. Jap, contoh. So, Kirare is safe to ingest. It seems likely that its effect— Oh, so she was explaining why the Kirare can be inserted through the mouth, because when it reach your stomach, the acidic nature macam neutralize the poison. Okay, understand. Oh. He's being shy just like macam Phoenix, right? Gastric suckers, what are they? Gastric suckers. Gastric. So if this little poison is completely harmless when drunk, okay. The professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he? So dari mana professor tu dapat the poison? From where did the poison entered the professor's body? From the dentist? So like the dentist macam dah plan nak bunuh dia ke?
I don't know, I'm just guessing.
Okay. No, because like satu lagi, because there's that wound kan, the gun wound tu. Tapi from where dia dapat gun wound tu pun, yeah. That's right. Good gracious. From the dentist. That's basic science that even a schoolboy should be able to understand. No? See, the butt got the... Is it funny for me to ask? Oh, look at the butt. Okay. Serious. One. Order in the court. Order. The logic holds. If the lady and the professor drank the same poison, they would be affected in the same way. Are you trying to suggest? Yes, this Kirare poison is completely irrelevant to the case on trial. That's right. Surely even a little cockroach— Oh, the angry bird is scared. Angsa. What happened? Why does it stop like that suddenly? Slow motion. What is this welling up inside me?
Ryonosuke, stop time.
Ryonosuke. I have never felt like this before. So keluarlah power dia. Is it? Ke apa? The sort of conviction to break down all the discrepancies is so intense, almost reach like ooh, and more than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey. Oh. Ryonosuke. So the prey is the swan.
Ryonosuke is a carnivore.
Oh. Oh, he finally pointed the finger. Wow, I don't think so, Miss Giselle, but Igiari. the eyes suddenly kat depan. How dare you use that tone with me? I mean, everyone using objection already. You know very well that there is no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why, even though both you and the victim swallowed the same poison. Oh, oh, betul Pika, betul.
Apa
because
betul?
because the doctor kan baru ada the wisdom tooth thing kan, so basically the wound is in his mouth.
Jeng 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 jeng. The one is from the cabut gigi lah kan?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, see, I know because I got my teeth pulled.
Wow. Because the dentist. Kenapa I tak terfikir? Genius, Pika strikes again.
I big brain.
Also, I'm sure I don't need to remind you, you must provide compelling evidence, as we now know that this poison is completely harmless when ingested. Why would Dr. Wilson alone have been killed by the curare? So, medical report card. Take that. Kurai. Obira. As Miss Red so readily pointed out, she drank the same water as the professor. However, there was a fundamental and fatal difference between the two diners. A fatal difference? Ha! The duck, the swan makin kecil. Smaller. The toxic effects of curare are only felt when the poison enters the body through an open wound. So for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it is completely harmless. But what if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking the poison water? Inside?
Is it because wait before that, is it because macam if it's through in normal ingestion, the membrane of the organs macam the poison is the molecule of the poison is too big to meresap? Is that why? That's why you need an open wound? Is this like some weird ass osmosis?
I think so, maybe.
Okay.
Like macam mana? Kan macam like the difference of the size between virus, bacteria semua kan.
So yeah.
Like, poison tak semestinya virus kan. Yes.
It's attorney teaching you how to kill people.
Tak, the poison curare pun doesn't exist.
It's like Google just now.
Really?
It exists.
Oh my god. I thought it doesn't exist. Whoa. And the who you might have if you had just been to the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example. Ooh. Ouch. Miss Pratt, you have acknowledged many times in your testimony.
I like how the judge macam, you know, wah. Macam, you know, macam ada apa? What's the word? Like hidayah.
Enlightenment, is it?
Yes. The judge lah. I've received enlightenment.
The duck. I tak habis the duck is a swan. So that's it. You use that knowledge to orchestrate this. I wonder how this girl will break down. Like, will the swan fly through the courtroom? Is she laughing? Oh, okay. I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly, I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are also puerile. But what do you mean? Don't worry, little schoolboy. You'll find out soon.
Childish, silly, and immature. Puerile.
Oh, okay. What happened? Oh, what are you doing?
Dia cium the tu ke? Dia cium the detective ke?
Tak.
Bukan,
She took the bottle. Yeah, I mean the detective is hot. I know. You see, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it. No. Oh, okay. So she's destroying the evidence in front of the court, inside the court.
But
Is it? Yeah.
won't she get charged for disrupting the case? Like sure it's maybe macam kalau bunuh orang lagi terukkan penalty. So like she'll rather take disrupting evidence, I guess.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. Ooh. But still both will I mean like they still both of it still will give punishment kan, just severe or not je lah.
Just severity. Yes.
I mean it could just slip. No oh no,
Detective tu buat apa?
itulah. Tengok je. Oh dear, how careless of me. I'm afraid some crucial evidence may have just been tragically destroyed. So, I mean like before this, bukan before this, like kalau in current law punya kan, macam if you sengaja destroy evidence, you can get punishment kan? But maybe time dulu there's no punishment for that. Maybe sebab tu she was brave enough to destroy the evidence in front of the judge.
Alah.
No.
I have more hope for logic.
What a terrible blunder. What a terrible blunder. She's just calling this a blunder. Her like up as much of the water from the broken bottle as possible at once. You're wasting your time. This delightful carpet under my feet here was a gift from the British Empire. Ooh, wow. I assure you it will soak up the water beautifully. You have neither the technology nor the presence of mind to recover it. Sedih ya.
Hope the piano drops on her.
Nanti I tambah piano.
Please do.
How could you? You won't get away with this. You can thump the bench and shout as much as you like, little boy. But I'm afraid we'll never know now, will we, if there really was poison in the bottle or not. You ambil lah gelas tadi, test lah, aduh. And let us not forget we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. What evidence? Isn't that right, counsel for the prosecution? Oh, of course. You're referring to this photographic print, I presume, dear lady? That's right, and really, looking at this photograph, it's as clear as day, isn't it? The gunshot wound. Oh, okay. Sorry. No, you killed the victim that day using curare, and then in order to frame Yunosuke Naruhodo for the crime, you waited until he picked up the pistol you would arrange for him to find on the floor before you shot the professor's dead body in the chest with your own hidden gun. Okay, di manakah hidden gun ini? That's the question. Because, yelah, ada persoalan, ada gunshot. Kata, yeah, strip. Angkat your skirt. Then in the confusion that followed, all you had to do was turn the dead professor and his chair around. You see, oh, tiba-tiba muncul dia. You had every opportunity to commit this crime. You wonder?
If back in this time, it's when, tunjuk the ankle is considered scandalous. The tunjuk ankle is considered scandalous.
Maybe.
Yeah.
What a wonderful imagination you have, young man. The hidden gun, you say, and I shot the professor's dead body, did I? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence. Exactly.
Can you pat her down?
Itulah. Maybe it's not the those time of court
That's so
proceedings kot.
frustrating.
Yeah. And as you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution stance remains unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot. Bam. Bam. Delivered in cold blood by the accused Yunosuke Naruhodo. This is unbelievable. How can this be happening? We had her, but now is she really going to get away with it? The way she destroyed that evidence was obscene. Yunosuke, yes. They've come this far, but now you're the only one who can finish it. What? Finish apa? We have lost a vital piece of evidence, it's true. So if there are any clues left for us to use now, they must be in your head. Okay. Kita ada clues apa lagi? Ni dah tak ada. In my head, you told me before that your powers of observation were the one. Oh, okay. Well, yes, that's true, but so think back again now. Try to remember every last detail about the scene that day. Every color, every smell. So I think we will now try the Yunosuke's powers macam like before this before the Ace Attorney before semua ada their own power. Is this time? What I saw, what I felt, every color. Oh. Azuma right, tiba lah boleh nampak colour in the black and white photo. Somewhere in the vibrant memory of the same
Boleh
scene in
check
my...
blood sample, is it? On the plate for evidence of.
As a clue. Yalah, I mean like the stick plate should be an evidence lah kan, supposedly. Tapi kenapa tak check kalau ada darah kat situ?
Maybe if it it is evidence but it had not been submitted into the court.
You always have something up your sleeve, don't you? Wow. Come on then, let's wipe the smug smile of that English woman's face with some evidence. Wah, kuat dah.
I think at this point, Kazuma really doesn't want to marry a foreigner.
True lah, like I think he really have somewhat hatred over the Great Britain Empire. It's been niggling me for a while that something feels amiss in memories of that day. Whatever it is could be the key to arriving at the truth about all this. Dah terselah situ ada nampak darah. I nak point apa lagi? Itu darah lembu. Is it? Spectre Hosonaga Ansemites. Oh yes. What is it? Oh, kesian dia. I think his life flashes through his eyes bila that evidence jatuh. Kesian. Aduh, hai.
You're like, it wasn't in front of me. I could have stopped it. I'm a failure as a detective.
Kesian dia. You have said a number of times now you strive for perfection in your investigations, don't you? Absolutely. I wonder therefore if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime. Like for instance, the plate of steak that you took to the victim's table that day. Wait a minute, where are you going? Shut up! Shut up! The lady itself macam dah menyampah ngau. It's just a memory that's been troubling me. What memory? I saw the scene shown in the photographic print. Like, jap. Can we see the blood? Tak nampak kan? Tak nampak. Black and white pun tak nampak. Wonder lah. I saw the scene with my own eyes that day. And I saw that on the wooden base of the plate that the steak was served on was a spattering of blood. What? Oh really? And what of it? Obviously that must have happened when you shot the professor. No, that can't be the case. Why? Kenapa can't be the case? Take a good look at the photograph and the relative position of everything in it. Oh, okay. The plate of steak is almost directly behind the victim. If I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson, takkanlah the trajectory of the blood and suddenly sping on the plate. There's no way that blood from
I
the
wonder
victim.
kan from the start.
Yeah.
What I've been wondering from the start is that the bullet that was in the body of Dr. Wilson, does it match with the gun that they say Ryonosuke used?
I tak. I don't think Timeless ada ballistic print. Kan?
I don't know.
Because
I'm not American enough to know. We don't use guns here.
we are like before this if for guns yang dalam the previous incident ni lah cerita pasal ballistic print. So basically from the analysis of the bullet ballistic dia tu, so we can know which guns fired from it lah kan. Tapi I tak pasti if maybe during this time they don't have any ballistic print analysis yet, maybe.
This is so frustrating. And the thing is, I can't get too mad because it makes sense because it is from back in the day.
Betul lah. So, macam so traditional. Blood to have made it into the plate. It implies the plate was between the victim and the shooter. Which means the shooter must have been sitting opposite the professor as you were. Oh. So
buatlah perempuan ni boleh gerakkan kursi.
Kenapa tak boleh lah? Oh, gerakkan kursi sekali dengan body. Yeah. I beg your pardon. Oh, itu in English. This is beyond ridiculous, fabricated nonsense. Is the court seriously expected to believe something the accused has apparently just remembered seeing? Mata. Sorry, no mata. Oh, okay. This could be the moment that my entire career. Okay. Tapi kan kalau dah ada blood kat situ, kenapa tak submit as evidence? Mungkin sebab they cannot tie the significance of it into the case code tu yang tak submit tu. Inspector, you mean? Yes, I did bring the plate. In the interest of preserving evidence from the scene of the crime. I took it meat and
preserving evidence, unlike a certain brat.
I don't care if
Can I just say her name is Giselle Brat, right?
Yeah.
So is it like just a brat, Giselle Brat?
Oh, pandai. I dah lama fikir like Giselle Brat, like what is the name supposed to be a pun of? I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief, lol. You did what? Oh, mestilah ada itu itulah, look down on people lagi kan. I took the stick you had been eating, Miss Brad. I took the stick that the sergeant had been eating. Aduh, and I did it all in the name of justice. Sounds creepy, tapi at the same time betul lah apa dia buat tu. Then we can find out for sure whether or not there's a blood stain on Miss Brad's plate. We must examine it now. Examine, cepat, Fanny. The court wishes to examine the plate from the victim's table immediately. Yes, sir.
So sorry for the judge.
Pinggan. Sorry for the delay. Here's what you ordered. Well, what about the blood? Is there blood
Mistake
on it?
steak dia sekali.
Itulah.
Masih ke tak steak tu?
The blood, man. Suddenly the judge speaking like a youngster. The blood, man. Show the court.
Nasib man bukan dude ke bro ke?
Pause. Examine the plate as at your leisure. Tak ada. Oh, no blood. Tak ada blood. Tu macam merah sikit je.
Salah.
So is it my eyes?
I don't see any sadly.
Ada dekat, oh tak. The wrong side of me. But no, that's impossible.
This might be the sergeant's plate.
Yeah. Tak kita kena bandingkan dengan size daging tu betul ke tak? Betul tu. Betul daging tu. I think is the right meat. Tapi kena gigit lah situ. Kan ada sarjan makan daging tu. Kan sih? Ada kena gigit sikit.
Sama lah. Kan?
Tak sama. Kalau you compare this steak kat atas tu tak ada gigit, but dalam ditunjuk ni ada kesan gigitan. Someone ate the steak.
Dia tukar plate dengan sarjan.
Wow, tiba-tiba hidup. You know, macam main Bakugan. Tiba-tiba.
Oh, wow, what a reference.
That's why I always say
Nasib bukan tu. What? Bukan. I don't remember yang benda the thing that you masuk marble and then you tolak. Macam it's like a small Gundam
Bidaman.
thing. Yes, bidaman.
Bidaman dia apa, those bidaman, they got that 2 slots at the wings kan, ada kan.
I had a bidaman. It was way more fun than Bakugan.
Ya, Bakugan just magnet kan. Beyblade lagi fun. Tiba-tiba gaduh.
Yes, Beyblade is the best. Beyblade boleh main sorang-sorang.
Betul lah. Beyblade, bidaman, Bakugan ranking tiba. I believe we may finally have reached a conclusion in this trial. Let's hope so. This let's pretend attempt at courtroom proceedings is painful to watch. I do promise to do my best to forget all about it when it's over.
One question.
Apa? Yes.
Is she like looking down on the Japanese court system? Is that it?
Yeah. She apa?
She thinks the British system is superior.
Yeah, satu. Lepas tu, before this, on the last playthrough, she was like speaking in English at first. Lepas tu, the inspector yang translatekan dia. And then, sampai kita like pressing her too much and then she broke down. Lepas tu tengok-tengok, she can speak in Japanese. And then she was like, oh, I don't want to speak in Japanese because your language is so vulgar, cakap macam tu lah. So she's looking down on Japanese people lah, technically. Betul lah.
2 kali 5 je dulu penjajah.
Aduh. This sorry looking stick reveals the fact all too clearly. Right. The sorry looking accused wishes to examine it again, be my guest. Yes, jom kita examine. Kat bawah pinggan tu mesti ada something. Yes, let's. Boleh. Check. Yes, boleh check. Oh, bawah pun tak ada. Oh no. Tapi tu lah ada kesan gigitan baru ni. This is...
What if you tekan the kesan gigitan then?
Oh, the coin! The coin! Now we know where's the coin.
So this is the sergeant punya?
The curio collector's one. I don't think it's sergeant's
No,
one.
I meant like, is this the sergeant's punya
steak?
You know.
Oh, yeah, betul. Maybe this is the sergeant punya steak. What in the world is this? I think it's a Koban coin. The hallmark from the old era. I believe. No, I don't mean what is it. I mean what's it doing in there.
The
say
dude
it
might
was a
change.
Koban. Yeah, yes. And apart from the meat juices, it looks like to be in good condition. I imagine it's very valuable. This isn't the first time today that there's been talk of a Holy Koban. I've heard of polls. Tak, maksudnya Kazuma was rating like, this is normal.
Yeah.
Patutnya like panic lah sekali like, Nyeng. Never heard of a bullion in a book. Bullion. And I don't think you ever will again. This is extraordinary though. This means this is someone else's stick. Oh, boleh check. I certainly never expected to find a precious coin underneath this thick cut of meat. And it's from Hovera too, that would make it really valuable. It's well marinated in the juices as well. What are you thinking of?
I think they're both are very hungry.
Yeah, itulah. Maybe sebab tu kau macam, tak kisah. My heart's going to be racing as I live. This is just one in a million case. I think you might have the wrong end of the stick about this, lol. There's only one logical explanation.
Yes, now I want to draw both of them together.
Oh, please do. Yes. Okay. So this is not the doctor's stick. Is it now? I've lost. Check lah betul-betul. Janganlah. It's not over yet. Not until the final gavel. Bila final gavel tu?
That Koban. Banyak kali boleh gamble.
Itulah. I believe in myself, really. Tiba kena believe in yes. Saya check je lah daging tu. As the evidence requested by the defense has not been shown to be problematic in any way, I presume any further examination of evidence in this trial will be unnecessary. Does the defense have any objection? Yes. That bloodstain was going to clinch the trial for me. Can this plate of steak reveal any other clues at all? There's another clue.
Does the Koban really not matter?
Itulah. Another clue that will reveal the shocking truth. Yeah, the only thing that's shocking here is your unhealthy fascination with beef steak. I will not be able to turn a blind eye to any more unnecessary procrastination in this trial. Abo, I'm sorry Miss Brad, but we must ensure a thorough examination of the evidence. I suka judge ni. Like very very judgy. You know, judge-ish.
Level-headed.
Yes. Aduh. Sebab like maybe ada yang judge before this macam like very somehow a very prosecution punya bias, but this macam like very, you know, okay, like in the middle just. I see. As a newly affirmed ally of my country, that's still your position, is it? Thank you, Your Excellency. Oh, thank you too. Also, for the defense, you will now clearly show the court of what you are alluding. What, where precisely on this plate of beef steak is the new clue to be found? Angkatlah. 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 Already angkat this. Angkat. Si korban. Ha? Kena sekali lagi ke ngeng? Waduh. Jap. I salah lah. I patut kena tekan present tadi. Bukannya examine. What is doing there? Wait. Did you say it was hallway korban? Ya, cepatlah. I cannot even skip. I've heard of pearls before swine, but I never heard of bull. Bullion. Party. Yeah, this means. Okay. Prison. I need to prison this. Okoda. Good gracious, that's... A korban? What on earth? Oh, where I want at that. Miss Pratt. This is in fact the steak. The beef steak that you ordered.
Everybody is so fascinated over the fact that it's from the Hoen era.
Kita like, oh, the coin is inside the steak. Shut up. Jangan kata dia nak mencuri.
Does Ryonosuke plays archery or something?
What? Apa play archery?
Ryonosuke.
Oh. Tak pasti. Oh, because the glove thing. So, I perasan both of them wearing... Is it both of them? Kazuma orang pakai ke? Tak What this is, but I want no part of it. I fail to see how this is relevant. A coin under the meat that could simply have been a careless mistake by the chef in a moment of... Macam lah the chef akan...
Why would the chef have a coin? Why would the chef have such a valuable coin?
And put it under the meat? Don't be upset, we're supposed to believe, yeah. You think the same way like Kazuma. If this turns out to be relevant to the case, I'll rip up my ticket to Great Britain right now. Oh, it's right, it can't be coincidence. Korban coincidence.
Oh yeah, Kazuma's supposed to go to Britain kan untuk sambung belajar.
Yes, counsel. The rare Howe korban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll give up my lawyer job, right? Dia baru jadi... Dia bukannya lawyer pun. Oh my God.
Comel lah budak ni.
By all means, don't let it... Nobody wanted you anyway. Shut up! Perhaps little boy. Bengong lah. Yunosuke, aduhai. You should realize that it's you who is irrelevant. Even though I'm the one who tried. Aduhai. The point is, it's essential that we ask the owner of this coin if he can explain what it's doing under the steak. The owner? Yes, it's obvious.
Yeah,
There's only one person it can belong to. Courier kan? Bukannya the sergeant kan?
Bukan the sergeant.
Take that. Obviously, it can only be the antiques dealer and owner of Rasute, Kyure Korekata-san. Yuri? As in Mr. Cucumber something? Honestly. Kuang asam. Yes. The old man who testified earlier alongside the military sergeant, correct? Yes, Your Excellency. I remember him saying that he was up to something with his Koban coin when it happened. At exactly the moment the gun was fired. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for treasure. Indeed, my whole era Koban, my prize coin. Nasi tak pecahkan that vase. Then the Soviet era Koban, do you mean to tell me? Mana Korektasan tu? Why would Korektasan's Koban be sandwiched between the victim's beef stick and its plate? It makes no sense. Oi! Which is why I'm asking to bring Korektasan back to the witness stand so we can ask him.
Pula betul lah. Ouchie.
Ouchie! Nama for prosecution. Bring both witnesses that testified earlier back in here. Without a moment's delay. So tak ada rehat langsung. So memang tak ada to be continued. I can't believe I've come back around to that pair again. That pair? So like the sergeant pun kena sekali ke? We chase down the real significance of this Koban. We'll find out.
Kesian baby tu dilupakan.
Wah! Jangan kata to be continued kita. Fuyo! Makin besar. Makin panjang witness stand ni. What's this all about? Why have I been called up again? Don't you realize that it's dinner time for little baby Aido? I don't know, sir. When my son's belly is empty, he's fiercer than a pack of wolves. Exploited by the police, we were like miserable dogs, forced to bear false witness. Cakap macam Yoda. And when cast from this courtroom myself, I became a ruined man in a trice, a worthless withered antique. Nothing more have I to say. The sun has set on the prostitute shop owner's existence. Dinner? Sekarang pukul berapa? Be that as it may, pada kata, something has come up to light that requires your clarification. As your Rasute memory serves. Wah! Oh, kaki dia! Kaki dia! Oh, kaki dia.
The baby.
The resplendent, splendiferous whole treasure that my rusty bones managed to misplace that fateful day. Rasanya pisau kat kaki dia. Oh my god, kesiannya. It can't be, as I thought. Young man, enlighten this decrepit old fool, put me out of my misery. Where was my treasure? Where was it dropped? I'm not sure if it was dropped anywhere. We found your coin sandwiched between a beef steak and its plate, soaking in the seasoned meat juices. Sandwich? Soaking? Seriously?
Obsessed with the meat juices.
Really, it could have fallen there by accident, which means somebody must have hidden it there on purpose. Somebody concealed my homemade treasure between a slab of meat and a metal plate.
The sergeant?
Tak pasti. Who would do such a thing, such an thing? Maybe. I rasa macam tak significant langsung. Like kalau the steak is sergeant's punya steak, so macam, you know, macam like macam side quest je.
Yeah,
Steak ni.
because like kenapa tak tunjuk je both of the plates kan?
Excuse me, could I say something? Yes, of course. Proceed, Inspector Hosonan. I mentioned this earlier on the trial, but I was working undercover in the restaurant in order to investigate another case. Ah yes, that's right, the secret undercover operation. La Carnival is a high-class Western cuisine restaurant. It attracts wealthy diners, including many foreigners. It's Recently, there's been a run of similarly executed thefts targeting the restaurant's rich clientele. A number of such incidents have been reported to the police bureau. So sekarang we are solving the theft guard lah, in a way. Oh. My kepala dah sakit sikit.
No, Suki isn't paid enough for this.
Aduh. So that's why you were sent in undercover, is it? Yes, I took on the job of waiter at the restaurant in order to flush out the criminal. It seems likely that this korban incident is the work of the same.
Rusunaga kena repeat 2 kali.
So among diorang 3 ni pun ada pencuri. The place was already the scene of several crimes, it seems. Katanya the professor pencuri. Tapi kalau profesor tu yang pencuri, then the meat.
No, Ryonosuke, it's not clear for me.
Yelah, me pun. The identity of the person who stole and hid Korekata-san's korban is all too clear. What? Jangan main kata je. Include me in this discussion. What do you mean, Yunosuke? Tell us who is the... What? I tak tahu. Siapa?
Alamak.
Suka hati je kau. Dia mencari. Dia just makan situ.
Sabar. Nak fikir.
Kita ada 4. Apa kata kita letak Oci?
Ya. No. Nanti kena maki adalah. I tak nak dengar dia punya suara.
Okay. Sekejap. I macam sedih lah kalau I think macam sedih kalau we accuse him sebab dia jaga anak. Tapi like maybe dia kan prison. Oh, okay. Lagu stop. So betul lah dia. Sergeant Yesanosa. What? How dare you? You monster. I stole that korban, did I? I'm the master thief of La Carnival, am I? Uselessly accusing me of these crimes, cadet? It wasn't me, it was Aido. What? What? Kenapa Aido?
Kenapa? Is Aido like what's the word? Yang macam in Sims kan ada, kan macam in the Sims ada that trait yang suka curi barang. Aido ada penyakit tu ke?
Oh, klepto tu.
But Aido is still a baby. Then shouldn't you return the thing Aido stole?
You would push the blame for your crimes onto your own son and innocent little baby. It's you who's the monster, Sergeant Nosa. Cakaplah dia klepto. Ngeng. Bukan klepto lah, tangan panjang something kan. Wah. Ipeti club. Tak sangka Yesanosa ni breakdown.
Yeah, it's kleptomania.
Aduh, hai. Yang ni. Baby ni pun pandai dia. Nippon Imperial Army, Saja Yesanosa preparing to stand down in the Supreme Court. Stand down? Ni apa? Dia turun lah. Do any of you know Of the extraordinarily low wages the Nippon Imperial Army pays those it expects to keep our country safe. Oh.
Dah agak dah ada anak kan, mesti kena banyak lagi duit.
Yeah. Oh, so that's why dia salahkan anak dia for idol. That's why you were stealing things at the restaurant. The place is heaving with money. Every 3 days I will go there and do reconnaissance for a target. I would enjoy chomping my way through a good steak at the same time. Sounds like he doesn't.
But in conclusion, it's not the plate, it's the sergeant's plate.
Oh yeah. And your target that day was the old man and his koban. Yes, so he was an easy mark. I slipped the coin into my pocket without any trouble at all. A veritable phantom thief you are. I was all set to leave the steak. I was halfway through devouring when it happened.
The old man looks so impressed that macam tu kena curi.
Lol. Yes, when the professor was shot. I knew that if the police conducted a search and found the coin in my pocket, I would be finished. I do too. So I hid the incriminating evidence as fast as I could on the double. I slipped it in under the steak, hoping that I would be able to rendezvous with it again at a later date. So it's not the sergeant's plate.
So it is the sergeant's plate.
Betul lah. So he is the sergeant. This is ridiculous. Perhaps you could carry on with this absurd prattling in your own time. Well, Miss Pratt. Oh, of course, dear lady, of course. How rude of us. I'm quite sure there's no need to detain you any longer at all. Yelah tu. Tiba buat Caesar. Dah janganlah excuse lagi. Tak menjawab pun lagi. The tu. Baru theft of korban. The murder. The most certainly appear to be unrelated. It is related. Masa pinggan siapa? Ayah. Hiding a coin under a lump of meat. The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. Nonsense, is it? Well, oof. And as for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and a fork. Oh. Sekejap. I nampak tadi yang knife and fork tu. I lupa lah apa dia tulis tadi. Oh. It sounds like he doesn't even bother with a knife fork. Lol. Worryingly believable. Very well. Now that all questions concerning this witness testimony have been answered, I see no further justification for detaining her. Sabar. Objection lah, boy. Good day. I think kalau I masuk court kan, mesti gaduh lebih. Tak sabar macam diorang ni.
Yeah. I rasa macam I'm so...
You're so?
I feel so mad right now.
Aduh. Something about Miss Brad's parting words that got me thinking. Ada parting words? Bukan. I tak perasan. Dia cakap apa? Oh. As for picking up your steak and biting it into it without using a knife and...
So that means that she won't do that. So that means that plate isn't hers.
Because see the bite mark kan. Kalau
like she's a lady, so she would use a knife and fork.
Oh. Okay. So sekarang adalah related sikit. If that's the case, don't just stand there thinking make your voice heard. Sorry. You can think later, but if you don't call up now, you'll be too late. The trial will be over. Yeah, bluff je, bluff. Mata! Wait, Miss Brad. What is it now? I'm afraid just one last time. There's something I would like to ask you. I would like you to explain the contradiction in your parting words from just a few moments ago. What are you talking about? What contradiction? What new student nonsense is this? New student nonsense? Well, what parting words are you talking about, Runoski? Hiding a coin under a lump of meat? The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. And as for picking up your stick and biting into it without using a knife and fork, your nonsense is pure madness. Knife and a fork? Yes, I'm right. What she said there exposed an undeniable contradiction. I'm going to need to see evidence, counsel. If Miss Brad's words truly are contradictory. I nak proof kat mana? Dekat ni lah kan? Plate of stick ni.
The daging.
Yes. Right. The steak that Miss Brad had been eating before the professor was killed. Let's go on. More accurately, Your Excellency, the steak that was on the victim's table just before the professor was killed. The steak that was on the victim's table. Not true. Does there something about this steak?
Dia tukar plate ke?
I think so. Dia tukar plate. Because the detective ada kata dia ambil plate sarjan sekali kan, so bukan detektif tu salah tukar plate lah, the lady yang tukar plate tu. I see you've noticed it too, Miss Brad. Miss Brad? Notice what exactly? Just a few moments ago, Miss Brad claimed no Englishman could even contemplate picking up a stick and biting into it without using a knife and fork. Of course she did. She's a refined English gentlewoman herself. Then take a good look at the stick, in particular the edge where it's been eaten. Ada bite marks. Nampak gigi. Defined barbaric teeth marks there. Dia British. So, if the witnesses she claims wouldn't contemplate eating anything without using a knife and fork, there shouldn't be teeth marks in the stick at all. But what is your actual point? Perhaps the delightful Miss Brad was ravenously.
Ouchini, are you just sick or acting sick?
Whatever you say, lady. Shut up. As I said, I really must be leaving now. Oh, okay. Of course. Rest assured, I'm about. Oh, shut up.
Would a minister of justice would even want to have tea with a potential criminal?
Itulah. Little spectacled samurai relic. Of course. Alah, kesian dia, tak apalah, ikut dah hati kau.
I feel like this would just make me more frustrated towards Britain.
Yeah. You realise the catastrophic implications these teeth marks in the stick have for her. Kena tunggu jumpa Sherlock Holmes lah, baru rasa macam okay je. You know where you're going with this? Apa? Where are we going? Yes, now at last it's all come together. The mysterious teeth marks in the steak that had allegedly been eaten with cutlery.
Jawapan senang je, pinggan tertukar.
Betul lah.
Drama lebih.
The reason why the bloodstain I know I saw somehow seems to have disappeared. And most importantly, the evidence that proves once and for all who shot Dr. Wilson that day. I accept that Steve walks in the a little unnatural as you put it, counsel. But what exactly are you suggesting that tells her? Everything. Whoa, tiba everything on a piece of steak. Yes, I believe that these barbaric thief marks in the statue.
I feel like nobody pays attention in this game.
Aduh, hai. Shut up. Conclusive evidence. How many times have I heard that today? You wouldn't know the meaning of that phrase. Typical Japanese empty threats. How can you be so sure? Oh, it's quite simple. If you really had such conclusive evidence, you would have presented it to the court long ago. Kalau dia mengaku dia did makan macam tu kan, I think boleh kot lepas. Tapi dia ego lebih. Ego English woman thing. Actually, the evidence I'm talking about hasn't been brought before the court yet. Hasn't been? What? But just because it hasn't been shown yet, doesn't mean that the evidence does not exist.
I'm so sorry for the detective.
Itulah. Aduh,
Mesti
this
macam malu kan.
Yeah. This
Macam botol tadi, he couldn't stop it. And now this.
there is someone who does have it. So, like, I nak kena present that someone ke ngeng tu. Detective duduk situ macam like, yeah, I know it's me.
It's my fault, I'm sorry.
Aduh. Takkan detective tu duduk macam like, oh, siapa? Tengok si I nak kena present. The answer is obvious. Yelah, obvious lah kot, but the judge take nak kena ni. What? I have it? Oh my god, dia tak realise.
Oh no, detective son.
You think I've been withholding conclusive evidence? That's all. Jangan kata dia makan steak tu. No, I'm not saying that. You just tak present je.
Kesian. Kesian.
Now, earlier this afternoon, Sergeant Nosa told the court the following. I would enjoy chomping my way through a good steak. And as well as admitting to stealing Korakuta's son's coin, he told us that he slipped it under the steak. You watch it, Cadet. I'm a superior officer. Sergeant Nosa, could you please confirm something for me? Is this your plate? In fact, your own steak? Oh, okay. And so dia nak pastikan lah dia bukan masukkan dalam steak orang lain. In other words, the steak that the detective submitted as evidence earlier was in fact Sergeant Nosa's meal. But that makes
Also wrong evidence.
That plate was taken from the victim's table. So it's not a wrong evidence, which is macam betul, but the lady yang pergi tukar tampering with the crime scene. Yet the gentlewoman doesn't take bites out of a steak, nor did she have any opportunity to steal the coin. Of course, I didn't steal it. To even suggest such a thing would be an affront to the entire British Empire.
And why is it so hard to like connect the dot for our GP?
Yeah, jadi lawyer. The sergeant switched the two stakes over. Okay, the sergeant or the lady? Auci pandai nak
The
tiba.
lady lah.
You did switch the plates? So dia switch the plates? Well, after it happened, I thought the lady switch the plate. Rupanya memang saja.
Yeah, so the lady isn't smart enough.
So the sergeant yang tukar ke pinggan tu. Ngeng. Nyorokkan baby dia dulu. With military precision and timing, I switch my stick with the one of the four. Oh, okay. It was called Operation Lightning Bolt. There was no time for strategic planning. It was do or die, I tell you. So yes,
The fact
I
that
did.
the English lady is so impressed. Wah lajunya.
However, fear not, prosecutor son. What now? I swear on the brass buttons on my uniform that is all I did, sir. All you did, that's plenty. Yes. So if Sergeant Nosa switched the plates over, it means he took Miss Brad's stick and the plate it was on back to the own table. Yes, that follows. Better also Naga. Yes. Earlier in this trial, you told the court this. You said that you had not only taken Miss Brad's stick after the incident, but also the sergeant.
Oh, this is a side quest.
Ya. Lebih kurang macam side quest. Ah, dia nak makan emas tu. Okay. Then please present it to the court now. Atau present je dua-dua.
Kan.
What can that possibly tell us now? I mean, a cold slab of tough meat, it can't have the slightest bearing on the case. Kata tadi ada darah, ngeng.
This is what I said. Nobody's paying attention.
Aduh, hi. Surely you're not that forgetful. Surely you remember the reason why this stick pen promises to prove such a problem for you, no? You're the ones who decided it was a problem, not me. Ah, betul.
How unladylike biting the thing.
Thinks he remembers. I'm quite sure of what I saw, Miss Brad. On the side of the plate that was on table directly behind Dr. Wilson, there was a clear spattering of blood from the gunshot. Wow. I believe the defendant's memory serves him well. And now we have the evidence to prove it. The plate you were eating from is bad. Ya, tunjuk je lah pinggan tu cepat.
Yeah, I fresh macam you, senpai.
Interesting yang inspector ni tak check pun bawah tu ada korban coin. Itu memang for the preserve of the evidence.
No, senpai. What's even more interesting that he couldn't connect the dots himself. We had the hope that he would remember and understand.
Tu lah, ada darah semua kan. Is there the plate? Please feel free to examine it. Tak perlu examine dah lah, tu nampak darah. Oh yo, the stick straight macam tu. Clearly visible, look. Bila dia tukar tu? Because yang ni kan macam straight kan. Kalau tengok dalam
Jangan
ni,
perempuan tu pergi lap pula darah.
yang ni tu yang I macam pelik tau. Nampak tak cepatnya dia tukar pinggan tu antara dua gambar ni. Hebat. I pun impressed.
You are worthy of being a sergeant.
In other words, it's impossible for Naruhodo-san to have shot the victim. It can't be. Dia Japanese. Tadi British. Macam mana dia tu? In fact, there's only one person who could possibly have shot Dr. Wilson from the front. I'm sure everyone knows by now who that person is. Ugh. Okay, breakdown cepat. Miss Giselle.
Ali.
Yeah, it's you. Okay. Macam mana dia breakdown?
Penat ni.
Itulah.
Real
Tengok dia
sikit mesti lagi
breakdown je.
penat.
Oh, si bangsa tu ni. Outdone by a
Potong leher
Japanese.
angsa. Da.
Oh, dia hidup. Oh. Oh, dia memang
Oh, leher angsa tidak dipotong.
ada anak burung. Ada black dah.
Wah, banyaknya.
Itulah.
Bodoh. Dumbass. Brief lah sangat.
Anak burung tu semua pergi mana?
Pergi mana plus datang dari mana.
Itulah kan. She just said she cannot hide anything kan. Tiba keluar. Aduh, hai. Penat lah. It was I who took the professor's life using curare. As you surmise, I chose that particular day for one very important reason. So you plan to kill the professor knowing that no trace of poison would be found in his water. Curare. Yes. Of course, I never intended to remain at the restaurant for as long as I did. I only needed to see the professor take one tiny sip of his water and it would be all over. And leave immediately, however. Before any of that happened, there was an unexpected visitor. Oh. Yes, you. Who else? Oh, dia datang at the bad timing lah. Such a trifling matter, but the fact that you decided to come over to greet the professor meant that I had lost my chance to slip away unnoticed. Yelah, with the swan head and all kan. In due course, the professor took a sip of his water and was paralyzed. I made sure he was sitting there, such that he wouldn't fall. There was no going back at that point, so I concocted a plan on the spur of the moment. A plan to pin Dr. Wilson's murder on this man. I happen to know that the professor always carried a gun. So dia plan, dia tak nak blame siapa-siapa lah. Just tu je, mati without a trace. But then Ryonosuke datang. I had a bottle of curare in my handbag and my own pistol. Oh, okay. She had a pistol concealed under my skirt. Under your skirt. So I was right. There were two guns.
Betul. Betul. At the gutter belt.
That's when I noticed the professor's gun, which you had presumably placed on the floor. I swear you were sure that I would notice it. And everything went according to plan. You noticed the gun as I would intended. Apa motif? I want to know the motive.
Kan? I nak tahu yang tu. I don't care how the professor dies.
That's when you shot the professor with your own gun. Even though at that point he was already dead. Naturally, the gunshot caused a commotion, at which point the waiter appeared. Obviously, I assumed Naruhodo-san was the culprit and apprehended him. I took him to the pantry that adjoins the kitchen and locked him inside. That's when I took the opportunity to turn the professor and his chair around. Oh. Because of course, you needed to make it look like the defendant. Because time Hosonaga take ni siapa? Ryunosuke to the pantry. No, nobody was watching the body. Tapi apa jadi dengan sarjan dengan tu semua kan? Kalau nobody was watching the body. So there you have it. And that is the entirety of my misdemeanor.
Demeanor like that. What an entitled ass.
Your Excellency, yes. I wonder, might I speak with you in private later? Ooh. Cakap pasal apa? I shall call on you. Thank you. Good day then everyone.
Dia angkat skirt.
Bunuh judge
No, dia angkat skirt. Go the judge.
Masalahnya dia nak pergi mana? Mana polis? Tangkaplah dia. Where are you going? It would seem this trial has finally run its course. Lol. How many hours dah? I see. I think by the time yang dia orang dah tak boleh nak sambung connect the dot tu, dia orang dah penat. This can't be Taketsuchi does not lose. Not to the likes of this rookie student, not even a lawyer pun. You better start getting used to tough opposition. Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Why, yes. This insult to the Aochi family name will never be forgotten. Bergenerasi. You've been conceited with age council, but the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that. Dia tiba-tiba stop. Sempat Ryunosuke lari. Ryunosuke sempat lari tu. 1,000 millennia may pass and still the Aochi clan will never measure.
I have a question.
Yes. Apa?
Bukannya jauh ke? I'm pretty sure the sword isn't that long. Unless it's Tetsunaga.
Tetsunaga? Oh, yang bleach tu.
No. I misspoke. In Tokerangu, there's a lot of swords. I like using the long swords.
Yeah. Thank you, Your Excellency. Tapi tadi sempat Ryunosuke lari sebelah. Use of evidence and deduction.
Tachi. Yeah.
Tachi? Oh, the name of the long sword.
The jenis sword.
So it's only been a few short decades since our country opened its doors to the wider world. So time ni memang time diorang jajah other countries lah. Open its doors to the wider world. But the Western ideas.
I thought the Dutch were the first people masuk Japan.
I feel sure that science will soon bring new methods of investigation and procedure to justice. A new future of law awaits, but what it will look like I cannot begin to imagine. This is for the young to pursue. Kazuma Asogi. After this trial, you are set to embark on a journey of discovery to the illustrious British Empire. Then all you can absorb everything of the wider world that you are able to. And do not forget to fulfill the mission imposed upon you. Oh, dia ada mission. I understand. Tapi nampak sedih. Why he looks sad? What's that about? Why do you look so grave all of a sudden? Never mind. As for you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, oh yes. In you, I sense, how can I put it, unusual potential. I very much look forward to seeing how you carry that onwards. Yay! Not guilty. It is time to deliver the final word. I hereby find the defendant Ryunosuke Naruhodo not guilty. Yay! Wow, instead of confetti, they put sakura petals. Wow, yay! Yay, not guilty. Yay,
Sakura, Sakura. Goodness gracious.
Pop. Supreme Court of Judicature, is it? Judicature. Can't believe what's happened. I mean, hey!
I want to know the motive. We
itulah.
didn't know we don't know the motive still.
Takkanlah dia nak sengaja bunuh her professor, kan?
Plus, kan detective tu kata his higher up yang suruh bawa perempuan tu keluar. So like, you know, lagilah
suspicious. Like maybe the ladies macam sent by the government to kill ni, kan? Maybe. So you owe me an extra large sukiyaki. Good afternoon. All your hard work was certainly paid off. Kotoba? Yay! Congratulations to both of you for proving Naruhodo-san sincere. Our trusty judicial assistant. You work hard for the result too, you know. Oh no, I didn't do anything. Thank you so much. What terkejut. If we hadn't had that research report of Miss Bratz, I
wonder if having a medium like in Phoenix Wright would be easier.
Kan. Because time ni supposedly they would believe those kind of thing, kan?
Yes.
Where's Faye? Maya Faye mana?
Tapi tak boleh guna kot because nanti the English lady would be like, oh, you barbaric people would be believing in such things.
Betul tak? Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings here. Atau Mikotoba, judicial assistant. Speaking of Mikotoba, there you are. I believe congratulations are in order. Yay! Naruhodo, you did an excellent job. Thank you, Professor. Oh no, it is I who should be thanking you after all. Your efforts expose the true criminal that took the life of my good friend. Oh yes, you mentioned that before. It was you who actually invited Dr. Wilson to the university, wasn't it? Yes, that's right. Professor Mikotoba studied over himself. He went to study forensic medicine. Oh! So before Mikotoba studied at Great Britain. Presumably that's when you met Dr. Wilson? Exactly. In those days, we worked together in the same hospital. Oh, you worked together? Oh. I've never heard you mention that before. Well, it was a long time ago now, besides. It's your turn, Asogi.
Is this the last time we're going to ever see Kazuma? I'm going to be really sad if that's the case.
Oh, itulah I pun macam takut kan. If dia kena bunuh suddenly, hayya.
Wait, no, janganlah kata macam tu. I just ingatkan, you know, dia pergi ke Britain. Sama belajar, living his life, not kena bunuh.
I don't know, macam like in this game, the previous installation semua like yang punya best friend semua kena bunuh. except for apa Edgeworth lah. Apollo punya best friend
in
ni.
the world
Sorry.
is this Game of Thrones?
Okay, maybe not betul lah, but then macam like betul lah, like we know yang apa Ryunosuke akan pergi ke Great Britain, but for what reason datang mencari si Kazuma ni.
Oh, baby. Baby.
I swear on this, the spirit of Asogi clan, they're not taking that so.
If Kazuma dies, I swear, I will draw them together.
Kalau tak mati, you still draw them together, kan?
I will not deny. No acknowledge.
So Giselle Brett, I mean, after all, she's guilty of murder. Ah yes, okay, what's the motive? It's not easy to tell you this, but what do you mean? Surely she's going to face trial herself now. She's the true culprit after all. She will be leaving Japan in the very near future. Or Shanghai? What? Shanghai? So dia tak kena punish lah. Why not? Matter of consular jurisdiction.
Oh, tak dah.
Consular? It was a hard-fought battle in the courtroom today. Very impressive to watch. I must congratulate. What's all this about?
I just tak suka because I bet in real life something like this does happen.
We can't try her, but then who? Who's going to bring her to justice? A British consular court will her.
I know who will bring her to justice. Senpai. The piano. Make a piano fall on her. Please. Somebody. Universe. I beg of you.
Letak dia dalam AO ni. Main the piano. Bam. But why a consular court, Professor? I simply don't understand. I thought consular courts were a thing of the past now that we've signed the friendship treaty. Oh. Yes, in normal circumstances, you're right. And so long as this is not a serious incident of a highly political nature to our respective governments, they can't invoke a consular court just like that. Oh, can't they? I tak faham consular court tu maknanya apa?
Consular courts were law courts established by foreign powers in countries where they had extraterritorial rights.
Oh.
Exempted from local jurisdiction. So disebabkan ada hubungan diplomatik, dia tak boleh macam nak jaga hubungan antara, I guess. So like they'll be exempted from the jurisdiction of local law.
So like how you remember the New Zealand yang pukul anak tu. Lebih kurang macam tu.
I don't know, maybe.
Okay. Jesus, but it doesn't justify our government's making secret agreements.
Okay. This is going to sound so frustrating because this is such a orang putih thing to do. Extraterritorial Western powers, when establishing diplomatic relations with countries they consider to have underdeveloped legal system, would demand extraterritorial rights. So, or basically the Britain thing that the legal system in Japan sucks. So they have extraterritorial rights to like tak ikut local jurisdiction.
Tadi kata apa? Underdeveloped.
Underdeveloped.
So basically they're saying that the Japanese court time ni it's underdeveloped lah, so that's why ada consular court tu. Okay.
Like dia dah nego masa nak buat hubungan diplomatik, maybe dia dah nego macam okay, korang punya rules macam tak advance lagi, tak betul. So like if apa-apa hal yang macam kes tinggi yang melibatkan orang kita, the Britain, kita orang akan minta consular court.
Okay. Oh, okay. No wonder lah
Like
frustrated.
they're not the one who brings all the disease everywhere. Bukan like a true bekas yang dijajah.
Colonizers. So Miss Bride can't be held accountable for her actions here in Japan. I'm afraid.
But actually, I kind of like this in a way. It's like true, sadly.
Yeah. Apa for like this, as in this case, this situation lah. Yeah. Because I pun macam fikir kat takkan apa, dia mestilah takkan di trial under Japan law kan, if the Japan law pun sendiri tak ada lawyer semua kan. And that for the young student, today's trial was nothing more than a game all along. Oh, so that's why dia macam like boleh destroy evidence semua.
Never have I ever wanted a piano to draw on somebody so bad.
Aduh. British Government Foreign Affairs Ministry has demanded that we hand over custody of Miss Pratt. They're obviously taking this case of a foreign student committing murder very seriously. So international law sekarang ni.
I wonder if you boleh summon. This is like very modern talk lah. I wonder if you can summon her for defamation. Because her actions has caused, like, defamation to Ryonosuke's name.
Yeah. We're going to change from now. We can make it change. Don't say disebabkan ini Ryonosuke kena pergi Great Britain untuk defend himself.
If that's the case, please be with Kazuma. Please, I don't want to lose him. I don't want to lose that flowy headband.
His new era heralded by the start of the 20th century. One day, I have no doubt that woman will receive the judgment she deserves. Yes,
by a piano.
I can edit piano drop on her so many times.
Please.
Well, I think that's enough seriousness for now. This evening calls for a celebratory drink. Professor. You're right.
Sake!
Sake. Umur dia orang mesti ada university kan? Let's start having fun. In that case, might I suggest lah carnival. Don't say dia nak pergi lagi. Nak jadi waiter lagi ke? Oh my.
But kesian Ryonosuke, mesti dia tak familiar dengan western food kan?
Agak the steak tu kan.
So would it be a celebrate for him? Because it will be like all foreign food.
Yeah. You're a detective tu lah. You're a detective also Nagasaki, aren't you? Technicalities. Itulah carnival, will you accompany as professor? Of course.
As long as Ryonosuke isn't going to have to pay the bill.
I'll go and attend the paperwork for Naruhodo-san's release. Aww. Thank you. Yan dia. Tak dapat makan daging.
I hope Dr. Watson's family are spiteful enough for the conviction of Giselle Brad.
Oh, I'll never find out why she killed Dr. Wilson. Azuma?
We know Ryonosuke. Kita orang buat bising pasal tu from the start.
Cakap lah kat dia. That's all. You really saved my skin today. Ha ha ha. I didn't do a thing. You were the lawyer in there. Were you? That defense was all your own work. Your skills made the difference though. One day I bet you'll be the best lawyer in the world. I'm not so sure about that.
I want to...
To be honest, something kept occurring to me over and over again during that trial. I couldn't help thinking that maybe you're the one destined to become a great lawyer, not me. Oh, jangan macam tu. Pergi je lah. I helped you today. It was only right at the very start of the trial. But you have a natural talent for it, for being a defense lawyer. I mean. So jadi lawyer pun adalah satu talent.
Well, considering nobody could connect the dots like Ryonosuke, even the detective.
That's the point. Sorry? What do you mean? That's the point? Listen, Ryonosuke. Do you know what the most crucial weapon in that any lawyer needs in order to win? Knowledge of the law. So, the ability to believe. Believe. A defense lawyer has to fight for his clients. He has to believe in them at all times. Like you believe in me when I said I didn't do it. I'm human just like you. I don't have some superhuman ability to know the truth. Sometimes in the courtroom.
Ryonosuke has the super ability to remember the blood.
Yelah tu. So like in some part of the case, Kazuma already tak percaya Ryonosuke, lost his belief. Somewhere lah, sekejap. I'm a student lawyer with precious little real experience, but you never stop believing in me. Oh? You face seemingly hopeless situations time and again, but you never stop looking for the truth.
Kelakar lah. Of course, like Ryonosuke won't stop believing in Kazuma because you know the one getting accused is Ryonosuke, and dia tahulah dia tak bunuh kan. So like why would he lose confidence? Betul tak?
Yeah. Like takkan dia tiba, oh no, did I kill him? Never stop believing in me. Thanks Kazuma. Sekarang ni I think there's something ni lah, apa, with kan Kazuma going to Great Britain for continuing his studies kan, tapi seeing how the judge kata tadi maybe ada apa orang kata, ada hidden
agenda.
Yeah, there's something I want to ask you actually, don't know. Well, it's a favor really. Something.
Can you go to Great Britain for me instead?
Bagilah sembang dulu. Oh, I thought the song ni arrange some rickshaws. Thank you, we'll be right there. Like speak up this conversation again later. We should be celebrating right now. Your first court victory in your study tour to Great Britain.
Is Kazuma and Ryonosuke the same age or is Kazuma older?
Jom check. 23. Dia 23. Tu lah Ryonosuke. Dia tak tulis lah sini Ryonosuke umur berapa. Jom. Yeah. I think Ryonosuke pun 23 lah. Sebab dia orang both second years.
Yeah, 23.
Oh,
The
you
wiki
Google
said so.
So my very first trial came to an end. Yay. Kazuma.
Alah, baru nak romantic. Kalau Kazuma like a senpai, I would be like, I want to get the second button from your chest.
Inspector Hosonaga, who didn't really play much of a part, but still, oh, kurang asam. Siapa kata tu? I think he played. Macam like, you know, he siap seludup lagi those evidence semua. It was because of the help and support of all these people that I managed to get through that trial. But more importantly, Kazuma hadn't yet managed to ask his favor of me. Jangan kata.
Kazuma mati sebelum
tak.
bagi favor.
Just how much it would change my life. Okay. Kalau dia okay lah. I thought dia akan ni ngeng tu end kat sini. So like, okay lah. The stream pun end here.
Ya. Hayya.
Penat lah. Tapi tak lah. Okay lah. I pun macam penat reacting because funny semua dengan plot twist semua. Taklah plot twist sangat. Tapi frustration kan banyak.
Yes.
Aduh.
All the piano drop.
Yeah. So ni. So siapa yang tengok ni? Lah. I think it's just you.
Salah satunya.
So thank you for those who's watching the stream. So I'll end the stream here. Next Sunday, this Sunday I'm going to stream the part 4 second episode, and tomorrow
Yes. Yes.
tomorrow I'm going to stream I am the caretaker at 11 a.m. So yeah. Okay, I'm just going to sleep so that tomorrow. Wah, takut ya. So okay.
Janganlah fikir sampai tak boleh tidur.
Boleh. So okay. I think esok I nak macam, you know, buat something that okay, chill, fikir muka dia lawak aje. Macam like how you said, apa the Valak tu rupa macam Marilyn Manson.
Oh yes, the nun looks like Marilyn Manson yeah.
Yeah, lebih kurang macam tu lah. So I'm going to think that, like how I saw Nezuko tadi.
Dia ada Zuko. Blasphemy.
Oh, Nezuko. Okay. So thank you for watching. See you guys tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye. Good night.